free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome to Encouragement Only with Janice Comments. This is the auditory version to my Substack newsletter, and today is March 31st, 2026. My dear friends and readers, and I think of you as dear friends, whom I want to motivate and encourage. How are you doing? Seriously, as we experience perplexing days, I urge you to take care of yourselves. From my first Substack letter, I've aimed to share good news and to provide art, travel, and well-being tips. As a mom and an older friend, I often find myself searching for words and stories of comfort. Let me share with you what's on my agenda and my mind. Return to France. I am excited to be returning to France this spring, and travel always takes time and planning. Lodging, a schedule, activities, and meeting up with friends I have made on former trips. I've created a paper calendar because I work better with paper, and now I'm scheduling lunches, coffee with friends, and museum tickets. And most important, time to wander, explore, meditate, and allow for the unexpected. I travel solo, and I have the luxury of planning my own days. And of course, I need to be a flaneur or a flaneuse. Feminine of flaneur is a woman who explores city streets, parks, and cafes at her leisure, observing urban life with an observant, detached, or artistic eye. Originally denoting an idle stroller, it has been reclaimed to represent a woman reclaiming public spaces, embodying independence, and navigating cities with intentional curiosity. That is from The Guardian. There are always fabulous art exhibits in Paris. My resources to find these exhibits include Paris Je t'aime, the Tourist Office Paris Exhibitions Calendar, which my link is in my written version of my Substack letter. It is very thorough and potentially overwhelming. I also listen every week to Claudine Hemingway's podcast, Blue, Blonde, Rouge, and I read numerous Substack letters. So, what have I booked? I always go right to the museum website to avoid any additional fees and look for the English version. It's usually marked with the EN up in one of the top tabs. At the Musée d'Orsay, the Renoir exhibit, Renoir and Love. At the Foundation Louis Vuitton, Calder, Revers, and Equilibre. Equilibre? And at the Grand Palais Matisse from 1941 to 1954. For those who don't know, the Musée d'Orsay is housed in a former train station, the Gare d'Orsay, opened to the public in 1986 and inaugurated by President François Mitterrand. It houses the world's largest collection of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist masterpieces spanning the years 1848 to 1914. Today, it is a must for most Paris visitors. I have been fortunate to see several extensive exhibitions at the d'Orsay. An extensive Van Gogh exhibit, and forgive my French, Avoir-sur-Oise? I'm not sure. And last year there was an exhibition, Sargent, Dazzling Paris. And a few years ago, in 2019, I caught Les Modèles Noirs de Jericho à Matisse, the black models from Jericho to Matisse. All were really quite phenomenal. At the Louis Vuitton Foundation, the Louis Vuitton Foundation opened in October 2014 and was designed by Canadian-American architect Frank Gehry, who's familiar to most of us, with the groundwork starting in 2006. The foundation showcases a wide range of art. The collection is structured around 4 main themes: contemplative, pop, expressionism, and music and sound. The collection aims to reflect creativity and rapidly changing reality and to challenge our thinking. The innovative building resembles an enormous ship on the horizon. And last summer, after my visit, I strolled through the Bois de Boulogne Park, which is acres and acres of land, but it was just gorgeous. This was after visiting the David Hockney 25 retrospective exhibit. And words like fabulous, extensive, and mind-blowing are really not over the top. In my written Substack newsletter, I've got a little YouTube video that the museum made about the David Hockney exhibit. The welcoming French. Dear friends, you may be wondering what the French are thinking about Americans right now. I have always found people throughout my travels to France to be warm and welcoming. Yes, one must pay simple courtesies like saying bonjour or merci or au revoir when you enter a shop and exit. Make an effort to speak even a few French words. I am still, as George Clooney said of himself, horrible at speaking French, but I try. Horrible? I'm not sure. Horrible? This note in my written newsletter, I have listed a note from Janet Skesley and Charles Substack on how welcoming really the French are, and I urge you to look at that in my written newsletter. Also this week, I received a treasure envelope of hard copy maps and brochures from a friend I have never met. Actually, the friend of a spouse of a European Facebook friend. What kindness! She lives in Provence, near where my art residency will be, and we're both using Google Translate to communicate. But again, it's just another example of how welcoming most of the French people I have ever run into are. Good only you can do. As you navigate these crazy times, what good can only you do? There seems to be so much, but I encourage you to think of those people put in your path who need a little extra attention. Perhaps an elderly person, a telephone call, or a note can do so much. And if you can provide more, a little goes a long way. Age doesn't matter. It's your willingness to take time. Listen. Don't jump in with fixed answers. Share a good or fun story if you feel it will help. Creative boost. I've repeated this a lot, but find creative tasks. Organize your art supplies or craft supplies for a boost. Try new mediums or ones you haven't used in a while. Be true to yourself. Don't forget, you have to be true to your schedule and needs. This became abundantly clear this month as I tried to combine packing, medical needs, and artist dates. It's good to gather inspiration and build community, but a full day of abundant sensory intake can drive me into overload. Stick to your priorities and purpose. Not everything that is offered is right for you. Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. Ralph Waldo Emerson advised one to trust yourself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. People of faith often recognize or realize the importance of sticking to a purpose. Well, here in the Southwest, March has been incredibly warm. It was 108 degrees Fahrenheit last week when I drove to an appointment in Palm Desert. Our flowers and cacti are blooming out of season. The ocotillo, which usually flowers in May at our house, is a vermilion blaze. The cacti and rose are in bloom. And on my Substack letter, I've got photographs that I took just steps from the door. I think the April's Fool joke this year will be March weather in April. In France, April Fool's Day is known as Poisson d'Avril, April fish, and is celebrated with a charming fish-themed tradition. Children and adults craft paper fish, trying to sneakily tape them onto unsuspecting victims' backs. When discovered, they shout, Poisson d'Avril, often accompanied by fish-shaped chocolates. And on my newsletter, I've got several pictures. Fish-decorated eclairs, which were photographed by Janine Marsh of The Good Life. A chocolate fish from the site Girl Gone Gallic. The Musée d'Orsay posted a photo of them with fish coming out of their buildings, and apparently it's a custom for the Metro to actually post replacement signs such as apéro, which is afternoon drinks for opera. So, wishing you all a happy April. May those who celebrate have a blessed Easter and or Passover, and take good care until we meet again. Inspired by all of you. Janice comments.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.